I have to give Carly some credit for showing extreme restraint today. Honestly, I was waiting for her to slap Drew when he tried to blame her for everything that went wrong with Michael. As if that wasn't just the perfect way to deflect from the real issue, him making everything worse by playing house with Willow. But hey, Carly didn't slap him, which is pretty impressive. And don't get me started on Cyrus. Seriously, why is he still out here killing people? Can we just leave Michael alone for 5 seconds? Also, if Brennan knows Cyrus killed Dex, why is he just sitting on that info instead of, telling the police? I mean, are we supposed to believe Brennan's just going to let that slide? It's getting suspicious. At this point, I'm convinced Joss is going to go full vigilant and kill Cyrus herself when she finds out he's the one who took Dex. And of course, Brennan's going to know, which means he'll find a way to use that against Carly. Because that's what everyone seems to do on this show, use everything as leverage. And let's not forget Sasha and Jason. Mark my words, they're going to end up together and pretend the baby's his. I mean, why not? The show's already throwing logic out the window. Speaking of which, this hospital situation is getting completely absurd. So let me get this straight. There are multiple patients dying in the exact same way, and no one's checking the surveillance footage from their rooms. It's not like they're short on resources, right? There should have been an investigation by now. They would have already figured out who's been sneaking around those rooms. And how did Cyrus even get back into the hospital after Portia literally told him he was banned? The woman walks those halls every 5 minutes. You'd think she'd recognize him on sight. Also, now that Cyrus has gotten to Michael, I'm just sitting here wondering how they're planning to save him. We all know they're leaving the door open for Michael's return, but how exactly are they going to explain that one? It's getting harder to suspend disbelief. And can we just talk about the sarcastic banter between Nina and Joss? Honestly, it's the highlight of my day. My favorite line was Nina telling Joss, "You're just like your mother." To which Joss replies, "Why, thank you. Just chef's kiss." Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Willow being in charge of Michael's health and overseeing their divorce papers? Yeah, sure, that's a realistic plot. I mean, in real life, an angry, estranged wife could just as easily say, "Let him suffer," and refuse pain meds. So believable, right? This whole storyline is absurd. And as for Willow controlling Michael's health directive, please, any lawyer worth their salt could get Carly emergency control. It's not even hard, just present the evidence of Willow's complete lack of concern for Michael's well-being, with her endless infidelities, which we've all seen on tape, and the hotel rendezvous with her lover. Seriously, who wrote this nonsense? Meanwhile, Ava, still flawless. Her hair? Perfect. Her clothes? Perfect. But let's talk about something else. I absolutely despise Drew and Willow. Also, how exactly is Ava broke? She had Jerome money and owns a gallery. Then there's the settlement with Nicholas, and suddenly she's destitute? Makes 0 sense. Writers, come on. And speaking of nonsense, shout out to Joss for the 2-for-1 special with Nina and Willow today. But seriously, how is Cyrus still walking around freely and popping into rooms? GH writers, a little consistency wouldn't hurt. Then there's the plot twist. Sam's dead, Dex is dead, and Sunny has nobody guarding Michael's room. Yeah, these writers are operating on junior high logic. And Brennan? He's trying to give Joss some new purpose. Like, if she figures it out herself, maybe he'll recruit her. Please. Joss's sass was top-notch today, though. Gotta give her that. Oh, and let's not forget, Willow's probably going to be banned from the hospital soon. Why? Because she can't think for herself without Drew and Nina in her ear. What's her storyline without Michael? Oh right, she's completely irrelevant without him. And then there's Slick Rick, thinking he could somehow convince Alexis to hand over Ava's divorce settlement money from Nicholas. Nice try, Rick. Not happening. After everything Ava and Rick have done to Alexis, they really think she's going to show compassion? Dream on. Ava seems to think Alexis is an ATM. Well, newsflash, not today, Ava, not ever. If I have to see Cyrus roaming free in that hospital one more time, I swear I'm going to lose it. This is just absurd. First off, if anyone thinks this is some sort of hit on Sunny, why the heck didn't they put a guard at the door? And of course, Cyrus waltzes right in, disguises himself in hospital scrubs, and no one even notices. Genius security at work, huh? And don't even get me started on how they handled Chad Duell's exit. They've got Michael burning up in some fire, while his wife, Willow, is tucked away in bed with Uncle Whiskers. It's like the show's trying to win an award for most ridiculous plot twist. The fire, which I bet Sidwell started aiming for Sunny, totally backfired on Michael. Sidwell's out here trying to take over Port Charles, and it's clear he doesn't care who he steps on to get there. Wait until Sunny and Jason find out about this. Sidwell's gonna wish he never stepped foot in Port Charles. Lucy better watch out, though. She could easily be his next victim. Oh, and can we talk about how great it would have been if Joss knocked the stuffing out of Willow? That would have been chef's kiss hilarious. As for Cyrus, this changed man act he's putting on is a joke. He's still the same old criminal, and everyone knows it. He needs to be locked away forever for killing Sam, Dex, and now it looks like Michael. Maybe he and Sidwell are in cahoots and Cyrus is just taking orders from him. Who knows, but it wouldn't surprise me. And Willow, with the nerve to make decisions about Michael's medical care after everything. That's a complete slap in the face. Carly's gonna flip when she finds out. When Uncle Whiskers walked into the chapel, I was really hoping Carly would just toss him across the room. Willow and Uncle Whiskers should be ashamed of themselves for showing their faces at GH. And as for today's episode, looks like we're heading toward Jason and Sasha, which, yikes. Poor Danny's not going to take kindly to his dad dating Sasha. I mean, Sasha looks barely older than Danny, so that's bound to be an uncomfortable situation. But hey, it's practically spoiled at this point, since SBU's been posting about a bunch of upcoming scenes with Sasha. Sending Rick after Alexis is just gonna backfire, especially when it comes to Ava's money. It's not like Ava's holding the purse strings, Ace is. A trustee can't just make financial moves without proof it's for the best interests of the person they're responsible for. So good luck with that, Rick. And seriously, why the heck is Cyrus still not in jail? Alexis can't be trusted to handle Ava's money anyway. The whole thing is a mess. Drew and Willow knew exactly what they were doing. There's been a lot of talk about Drew and Willow's hotel suite situation while Wiley and Scout were in the next room. It's definitely a situation that raises some eyebrows, but let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Drew knew exactly what he was doing when he invited Willow and Wiley to DC. He understands how the press works, and he was fully aware of how it would look when he posed for pictures with Willow by his side. Even if Nina hadn't informed Michael, he would still have been flooded with photos of Drew and Willow looking like a happy couple right before his swearing-in. It's surprising that no one's really focusing on this. Drew's actions were clearly deliberate. Willow, too, must have realized what message that sent, especially when she ended up in Drew's room, looking upset and heartbroken about Michael's divorce filing. I'll admit, I felt for Willow at first. I understand that her past was difficult, and I know Drew played a role in how things unfolded. But Willow is no stranger to how the world works. She's been a spokesperson for a charity, is part of the Quartermain and Corinthos families, and has worked as a teacher. At this point, she knows the importance of how things appear to others, so she must have been aware of the optics of this situation. As for Drew, yes, he wanted to be with Willow again, but there's more to it. He wanted to make a statement, showing Michael that he was involved with Willow again. And then, after everything that happened, Drew shows up at the hospital, potentially at Michael's bedside, after all the tension he just stirred up. It's a bit bold, to say the least. Willow's justification that Michael had served divorce papers, so it was okay for her to be with Drew, doesn't really hold up. No divorce papers had been served when she first got involved with Drew, nor when she went to DC. Michael didn't express wanting a divorce until after Willow's actions led to that point. It's also hard to buy into the idea that their relationship simply happened without intention. Feelings take time to grow, and both Drew and Willow made choices along the way to deepen their connection. They didn't have to spend time alone together or continue to grow closer, but they chose to. What's most frustrating is their response to the situation. They don't seem to fully grasp that when you make choices that affect others, you can't control how people will react. You can't hurt someone and then be upset when they're hurt by your actions. People aren't obligated to give you sympathy or respect just because you're going through something personal. Then, Willow's actions at the hospital today felt out of place. After everything that happened, it seemed strange for her to suddenly lean into the wife role after being involved with Drew. It feels like they continue to play the victim, making statements like, "It's not your business," while also wanting people to show them respect. There's a lot of inconsistency in their actions, and it's hard to ignore the impact they've had on others. Drew is the epitome of manipulative, and Willow? She's so weak-minded, it's almost painful to watch. Drew's practically grinning as he feeds her this fantasy that Michael is the bad guy here. Because, obviously, taking Aurora from the man who seduced his wife, filing for divorce, and seeking custody is somehow wrong. Never mind that this is the same guy who's been caught cozying up to his affair partner in DC, photographed with her and sleeping in the same room. But sure, Michael's the villain in all of this. And Willow? She seems to have completely erased the fact that she's the one who cheated on Michael first. She didn't just cheat, though. She jumped straight into Drew's arms with zero remorse. And let's not forget that she was more than willing to sleep with Drew the moment Michael sent over divorce papers. She didn't seem too torn up about that. Not to mention the little nudge Nina gave her with those separation photos. If Willow really wanted to salvage her marriage, don't you think she might have actually talked to Michael? But nah, she just let it happen. Honestly, the cherry on top is when Willow gushes about how much she appreciates Drew for being honest with her, even when it's hard. Oh really? Is that the same Drew who was sleeping with your mom before, during, and after starting an affair with you? Can't wait for Willow to find that bombshell out, because it's gonna be a real moment for her. And don't even get me started on their endless sex scenes. Every time, I'm closing my eyes and skipping ahead. It's unbearable. This whole Drew-Willow pairing is just nauseating. Like, sure, I can deal with a murderer on screen, but watching this, it's enough to make me want to stop watching altogether. So what exactly is the endgame for Willow and Drew? Where are the writers even going with this? Because from what I can tell, this couple is getting absolutely destroyed by fans. I've checked Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, and it's overwhelmingly negative. I'm talking hundreds of comments ripping them apart. So, is this really the direction the show wants to take? Do they want all this negative feedback? Are they hoping people will hate watch instead of just tuning out completely? Or do they actually think they can redeem Willow and Drew somehow and win fans over? Because honestly, I can't see how this ends in anything but disaster. And sure, I get it. Cheaters, killers, even rapists have been forgiven by fans before. But this feels different. This feels like something that's just beyond redemption. It's unforgivable. I'm just waiting for the moment when Willow finds out that Nina and Drew slept together. You know she'll find a way to blame everyone else but Drew, right? Because that's her thing, always playing the victim and acting like she's superior to everyone in town. It's honestly about time someone knocks her down a few pegs. Someone on Twitter said this is like a repeat of the Peter August situation, and I couldn't agree more. The backlash is huge, yet the show just keeps pushing forward like nothing's wrong. Honestly, I think it's too late to win anyone back at this point. They should just cut their losses, but with how stubborn GH is, I'm sure they won't. And here's my hill to die on. If they were really going to have Willow have an affair, they should have stuck with her and TJ. At least they had chemistry and were age-appropriate. People might have still hated it, sure, but at least they would have had some fans. Okay, here's my theory, but just to be clear, this is pure speculation, so don't come at me with spoilers or anything. Sidwell? Oh, he's totally a Cassadine. Think about it. The Cassadines have been MIA for ages, and then, out of nowhere, their lawyers in Greece swoop in to reclaim Ava's divorce settlement, just as Sidwell waltzes into Port Charles? Yeah, that doesn't seem like a coincidence. Oh, and he bought Spoon Island, just casually. No big deal, right? He also seems to have a special fondness for messing with Lucky, and it's starting to look like he's developing a full-blown obsession with the Spencers. Classic Cassadine behavior. Let's not forget the diamonds. Does anyone else think that's a little too reminiscent of the Ice Princess? No, just me. All right then. But here's the thing I can't shake, Lucky. He knows something, right? Because remember when Jason almost killed Sidwell in Africa? Lucky stepped in and stopped him, but they never explained why. I mean, yeah, Lucky's against unnecessary murder, unless, the person's actually a threat. But Sidwell? He's definitely dangerous. He would have killed them. So why, oh why, did Lucky stop Jason? There's gotta be more to it than that. To me, all of this makes way more sense than Sidwell just randomly deciding to settle in Port Charles. I mean, all the theories about why he's here, moving to Spoon Island, blowing things up, are fine, but they just don't add up. They showed him skipping around, gazing at Port Charles like he's plotting something, and I can't help but think of Lucky doing the same thing. What exactly did he say to Jason again? I did hear a little rumor that might fit with this theory, but since I don't know how to black out spoilers, I'll leave it at that. But seriously, this whole Cassadine thing makes way more sense than anything else. Does anyone else see this with Willow all right? Before I dive in, let me get this out of the way. I know Nina isn't exactly the fan favorite character. Some people seem to be just waiting to rip into her. If that's you, try to keep an open mind and, maybe be respectful. Great, you're still here. Let's go. So here's the thing I noticed the other day. When Nina called Willow about Michael, Willow's immediate response was, "Nina, what's wrong?" Now, I know we've all gotten used to Willow never calling Nina mom, but something about it felt off to me. It felt like Willow was playing the game, manipulating Nina on purpose. Remember Christmas Eve? Willow was all over the place, acting like an emotional wreck, begging her parents if her boyfriend Drew could stay over. Nina said no, and Willow threw a little tantrum. Then, when Nina gave in, Willow turned on the charm, thanking her and finally calling her mom. Classic. But what stood out to me was how, just a scene later, when Nina interrupted her little sexy time with Drew, gross, right? Willow was immediately back to calling her Nina. No warmth, no mom, just Nina. Fast forward to today, and Willow practically shoved Nina out of the way to run to Drew for help with her kid drama. It's clear Willow's quick to ditch Nina when it's convenient. As a CW fan, don't judge. I would honestly love a storyline where Nina just lets Willow deal with Carly, Joss, Sunny, and Jason all by herself with Drew. Imagine Nina looking at Willow, throwing her hands up, and saying, "I'm never going to be good enough for you, am I?" Maybe even drop the bomb that Drew slept with her too, and then just walk away. Mic drop. Willow needs a serious reality check, one of those moments where she has to face her own toxic behavior. She's in desperate need of a big slice of humble pie. Maybe it wouldn't redeem her, but right now, I think Willow is just as vile as Drew. After everything Nina has been through, she deserves a daughter who loves her for who she is, not just because she's the only one available. I didn't watch GH during the whole Carly or Bobby or Alexis or Sam mother-daughter drama, but with Nina and Willow, honestly, it's just not doing anything for me. I don't want Willow to be Nina's daughter because, as crazy as Nina can be, at least she's emotional. Willow, she's just cruel. I don't see a way for them to ever have a healthy relationship unless Nina finally just lets her go. What do you guys think? Do you see the manipulation from Willow? Do you notice any patterns with other mother-daughter relationships in the show? For me, it's been clear from the beginning. Willow's sneaky, and she hides it behind this sweet, innocent, doe-eyed act. It's all just a mask. She's just as scandalous as they come. I've been saying Nina's going to get hurt because Willow is using her, and it's obvious she knows Nina will do anything to stay in her life. Honestly, if I told Willow no to Drew coming over, she wouldn't have guilt-tripped me into changing my mind. I'd have said, if that guy sets foot in my house after I've told you no, you can feel free to leave with him. My mom wouldn't have played that game, and neither would my grandma. I wouldn't either. And I swear, once Willow finds out Nina slept with Drew too, she's going to turn on her, and I can feel it in my bones. Honestly, I wish Sasha had been Nina's biological daughter. At least then Nina would have someone who might actually care for her. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.